Hello and welcome everyone. This is Race on Oz. It's the Monday Night League. It's PC. My name is Nick and I'm here to take you through round number 2 of season number 3. Last week was round number 1, but we didn't get as far as the race. I had some internet issues last week, so fingers crossed they're all sorted. I tested during the week. And hopefully, I think it was just an OBS issue. That I just uninstalled it and reinstalled it. So fingers crossed tonight it works without a hitch. What are we? 6 minutes 40 in, and so far so good. So fingers crossed. In light of that, we're going to do something a little bit different. So James Pierre Reid has actually been so kind to do a little recap video from last week. So normally it's a 5-minute intro. I've just made it an extra 5 minutes to give us a quick look at what was last week. I'm going to try something here. So I'm going to try and essentially live call this, but it's on a replay though. So it was Andrew Lawrenson who took pole position. He was our reigning champion, so he took pole position. This was last week around Mazzano. So this is a replay for everyone watching, so if you're just hopping on board, this is just a replay of last week. So we got off to a good start. Lawrenson led them away. Doughton and Wally Masterson had a collision coming up here through turn 3 on lap 1. Where is it? It's coming up through here, I think. We're going to see. Oh, there you go. The Aston Martin just going around there. Tom McDonald actually jump-started. He received a drive-through penalty for that as we have a look from on board the Audi. There was Tom McDonald pedal failure and crashed into the pit board and retirement. So that would actually come to play a part later on in the race. Adrian Rice just spinning in turn 1 on lap number 2. They'd actually go on later to retire after another spin. This is Ben Doughton. Spins into John Stockton there. But it wouldn't be the last time they would collide during the race. Matthew Marsh, he loves multiple position changes on lap 5 after losing control. As you can see there, into the fast right-hander to Dominic, Hildebrandt and Masterson. So he loses multiple positions there. Masterson breaks late and hits Hildebrandt on lap 7 with Marsh and Bridges there. You can see just coming through, unable to avoid the spun Aston. Atron slips through, gaining 3 positions. At the same time on lap number 7, James Mack runs wide there on the back straight, allowing Terry Rayton to get by after being stuck behind. The fight for P4 is tight all the way down to Matt Frost in P8. On the next lap, Peter Wall drops off the back of the Mac and spins at the hairpin, losing many positions around he goes, unfortunately for him there. As we skip ahead, this is lap number 13. James Pierre Reid attacks as Mac loses traction, comes under immediate pressure from Frost. As you can see there, Mac just losing traction there. He would then later go on, runs deep into turn 4 on lap 15, allowing Frost through. But it does not last long as Frost is disqualified for cutting the track after a spin. Oh dear, that's not good. There he goes, round and round. He lost that pretty early too. Stream's still up. This is good. Good start. Out of sequence. Hildebrandt was also earlier disqualified for what appears to be an extreme pit speed infraction. Board was missing because of McDonald from lap number 1, as we saw earlier. He knocked it out. End of lap 19. This is Lawrenson. He pits from an untroubled P1. So he's just cruising all the way right now. Paul Russell, he was running a comfortable P3. He's given a stop-go 30-second penalty for pit lane speeding, destroying his chances of a good result. Series of drive-through penalties hits drivers in the top 10, including Latenzio from P6, Mack in P6, and Ricker in P number 2. Max Ricker was having a good race. That's a shame for him. We're on board with McLaren here at the moment. And he's working his way out of the pits. This is Ricker, exits from the pits the penalty in P5 behind Mark Hurley, but is immediately on the back of him and gets past on the back straight. So that's Hurley getting overtaken there. Then up next we've got Neil Fakeney. There he is. There's Neil Fakeney. Catches Wall in P6 and they battle for the last six laps with the gap around less than a second. Wall manages to hold off until the end. I hope this is all coming through anyway. Where are we? At the same time, Marsh held off Atron for the last 8 laps. There we go. That's Marsh holding off Atron. Sorry. For the last 8 laps as they also battle for P12. Well, the front of the Porsche is looking a little bit worse for wear. They're in P12. Where are we next? We've got coming up, James Mack makes a move on Peter Hatfield on lap 33. Spinning him far off into the gravel. Ooh, just the slightest of touches. And Hatfield goes around racing a Ferrari this season as opposed to a Merc last season. Ricker catches Rayton in P3 and manages to get past on the second last lap with very minor contact. Rayton had been low on fuel and had no defence on a slower ECU map. These are all notes from James Pierre Reid. Very detailed. I'm loving this. Doughton is again with Stockton on the very last laps, but cuts turn 6 and is given a drive-through penalty on the final lap. So Doughton having quite the eventful race. As we come towards the end of this little highlights package, you're watching highlights from round 1 because the stream died last week. It is alive right now as we're just watching Doughton and Stockton going at it. Here's Andrew Lawrenson, finished with a commanding lead to start the season, showing his championship winning calibre. James Pierre Reid, we'll see on the screen, he would finish P2 with a fast charging recovery drive from Max Ricker, flashing his lights as he comes across the line in P3. Mark Hurley takes the silver win with P5 overall, and Herbertron takes the AM win with P13. Have a look at the results. Lawrence, Pierre Reid, Ricker, Rayton, Hurley, Hall, Fakeney, Dominiak, Mac and Latenzio. He's got a cracking livery this evening, so I'm looking forward to seeing that on the screen. Who else? And this was the rest of the placings. Alright, that was good. Big thank you to James Pierre Reid. And these are the winners from last week. Andrew Lawrenson, Mark Hurley, and James Mack. So silver class winner there is Mark Hurley. The AM class winner is James Mack. And the overall winner, outright winner, is the one and the only Andrew Lawrenson. All right, here is the standings. So the standings are in order of finishing last race because it was round number 1 of the season. So Lawrenson leading the way, Pierre Reid, Max Ricker, Terry Rayton and Mark Hurley. That's your top 5 right now. We'll continue on. Wall, Fakeney, Dominiak, Mac, Latenzio round out the top 10. And then we have the rest of the field from Herbertron, 13th Masterson, Russell, Stockton, Bridgens, Nightingale, his first race of the season last week. So congratulations to him, Josh Nightingale, finishing the race. That's all you really want to do in your first race, isn't it? Let's have a look at the manufacturer's standings. So it is McLaren out in front. McLaren is definitely the OP car right now. 165 points they all managed to cobble together last week. 116 points the Ferrari, 3 points ahead of the Porsches. Then you got the Ferrari and the Lamborghini fighting it out. 1 point the difference. Aston Martin, BMW, and Mercedes and Honda yet to get off the mark. All right. That was good. Big thank you to James Pierre Reid for putting together that video highlights package. If you haven't also done, go check out his the highlights that he did for last season. It's quite a very polished product. And let's get into it, shall we? So 18 cars on the grid, so a little bit light on. I think we had more than that last week for the time that we were on. So, yeah, could be anything. I think school holidays are happening at the moment in some states, the northern states anyway. Andrew Lawrenson tops the times, so 134.355. All right. Russell Frost up there. James Mack, Peter Wall, Fake Knee, Tom McDonald. Oh man, don't have his livery. Terry Rayton just cutting some laps here to finish off the session. I think once he crosses the line, we'll all be good. Yes, we are. All right, here we go. Ready to rock. Hope that mic isn't too loud anyway. Shouldn't be. Right, just drop it down ever so slightly. Oh, have a look at this. Look at that bad boy. Have a look at that. Peter Wall, the old school Shell Sierra days. Mid-90s. Livery, looking absolutely sensational. And another little tribute to a throwback. We'll have a look at Nando Latenzio when he comes out, because it's a livery I've been trying to get on the stream for a while. It wasn't playing ball with me as we watch Matt Frost circulating. Peter Wall, Andrew Lawrenson, our championship leader, is out there. Interesting circuit, this one, Zandvoort as well. Always quite the challenge. Out, what do we got? 14 turns, 4.25 kilometre circuit length. Who's going to be the first driver? It's going to be Matt Frost. Yes, so 14 turns, 4.25 kilometre track. Turn 1 is generally a pretty good opportunity for overtaking. Sector 1's a bit of a roller coaster ride from sort of turn 3 down to turn 7 and 8. The fast right-handers going down the hill, then quite a technical part of the track between 11 and 12. This is Matt Frost. He's going into turn 1, named after Tarzan. Well, not after Tarzan, it is named Tarzan. There's a farmer here that used to live here, where they were reclaiming the land, and he was the last person to go, and he said, I will go only if you name a corner after me. His name was Tarzan. So that's the legend anyway. I'm pretty sure it's true. I've heard him talk about it on other broadcasts before, so cool story if it isn't. But Matt Frost in the Honda. Interesting choice of car as well, the Honda. Definitely not my favourite, that's for sure. But yeah, he's given it a go though. He doesn't mind changing his cars up. Matt Frost in the signature 666 number on the side of the car. Just coming out of turn 10 now. Down into this tricky little complex here of 11 and 12. See plenty of action happening through there. No doubt we'll see that this evening. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a great weekend and a nice Monday so far, as Matt Frost is going to come around for the final turn, turn 14. He's going to be the first car to give us a time lap. Hildebrandt won't be too far behind him. As Frost sets the marker down of a 1:35.792. What about Paul Russell? DNF last week. Peter Wall in that beautiful red McLaren. Good enough for P5 right now. Matthew Marsh in the Ferrari, the number 47, making his way across the line, P7. Was going to get to Adrian Rice. There he is. In the Mercedes, lights ablaze. Overcast conditions right now. Here's Peter Hatfield in those conditions in the very nicely turned out Ferrari and Milfrey Racing. And he's going to cross the line. Good enough for P13 right now. What about Terry Rayton in the Audi? Andrew Lawrenson has gone to his customary spot. Top of the times at 1:34.680. Can Terry Rayton pop out P number 9 so far for him. Let's have a look at Lawrenson, shall we, on his qualifying lap. He's half tenths up on his best time right now. Goes down towards turn 11. Cam, so almost a third of the time gone. What's happened to Mark Hurley? He's just pulling aside. That's alright. It's a blaze. Track at 23 degrees, air temperature 20. Still optimum. Slightly overcast. Weather randomness is set to 3 this evening. Cloud level is set to 0.25, 0.1 for rain. So we'll see any weather as such. Won't see any precipitation anyway. Probably looking like it's going to stay cloudy and overcast like this. Who else is out there? Right, he's not on a fast lap though. Here's Hatfield. P15 right now. What about Herbertron? He's our AM class championship leader right now. He moves up into P14. He is the highest of the AM drivers right now. What about Matt Frost? He's marginally up on his best time. 9 minutes left. So almost at the halfway mark of this qualifying session. Setting the grid. And number 2 is Neil Fakeney. Teleports back to the pits. And number 2 is season 3 of 2023. It will be the final season of this year. Finishes on the 18th of December, which you would not believe is just over a couple of months away. Well, you would believe it if you looked at the calendar, but you know what I mean. Where does the year go? Flies by. Here's Matt Frost. 1.5 tenths up. Goes into P3. Nice work from him. What about Tom McDonald? Don't have his livery. My apologies, Tom. Oh, getting it all wrong there on the final turn. And escaping without any major dramas there. Marsh. Looking like he was going to do the same there for a second. About James Mack making his way towards the line. About Paul Russell, haven't seen him yet in the Kmart liveried Porsche. Down the hill through turn 7. Turn 6, this is turn 7 here. I don't want to hit that curve. It will upset the car there. It's not a pleasant experience when you do so. It's a blaze on the Porsche. Just to tick over the halfway mark, we're following along with Paul Russell right now. Sitting in P2 at 1:34.980. They're chasing Andrew Lawrenson. 1:34.370. What's that going on with Mac? Permanent yellow next to his name. Paul Russell will go back to finish off his lap. I don't think he's going to improve here. Not looking like it, so remaining P2 for now. Let's go to Peter Wall. P9 improves. P6. Nice work, Peter Wall. Now Ollie Masterson. Conquest Racing. 37. 19 in the lobby right now, which is a nice number for this circuit. You don't want to have too many cars around here. It can get quite full quite quick. And Masterson trying to go quick. So he's down there in P17. Paul Russell is on a valid lap. Lots of cars that aren't. What's going on with James Black? It's like he's right at the end of the pit lane. Too sure what's going on there. Just showing up as a yellow flag on my timing screen. We're watching Russell, 1.5 tenths up. He's 6 tenths off Lawrenson right now, so a lot of time to make up as he comes through the final turn now. He's got to improve his time, but not enough to unseat Andrew Lawrenson. Let's have a look at Mark Haley. He's got the new livery this week. Very familiar 177. Making his way through the final turn. He's 1.5 tenths up on his best time. That might move him up a spot above Terry Rayton. It does. Terry Rayton drops down to P9, just a tick under 5 minutes left. He got out there. I'm just having a look. Slim pickings. Herbertron, lots of red on my screen. That's why I'm just struggling to find a car on a hot lap. I think they're all just setting themselves up for the final 4.5 minutes of this qualifying session. Setting the grid, round number 3. It's a 10 race championship this season. Last week was Mazzano. This week it is Zandvoort. Next week we're going to Donington Park. 100-minute enduro. That'll be fun. Take our regular break. I really like how we do that, actually. It doesn't tire people out. It doesn't burn people out. Quite good. We're watching Herbertron. 2.5 tenths up on his best time. We'll stick with him. Got Bridgens, another AM driver. He and Molly Masterson battling it out for the AM points tonight. So Herbertron leading the way there in the championship from Masterson. Doughton was third in the championship, but he's not racing tonight. Neither is Josh Nightingale. So Herbertron here is bailing out of that. Let's have a look at Andrew Lawrenson. Over 3 minutes left in this qualifying section. We're going to do 60 minutes around Zandvoort straight after. Stick around. It's looking good so far. Russell gets in the house. Heather. Laid down in McLaren this season, the 444. He was in the BMW a couple of seasons ago. He was in the Porsche last season. And now he's in the McLaren. It seems to be every man and his dog at the moment. Although this field's pretty good. There's only 3 or 4 of them on there, so making his way towards the line. He's got to improve his time. Drops it down to a 1:34.307. Curley is out there on a hot lap as well. 2 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Round number 3. It's Crawley. Do they have to pit or not to pit? That is the question. Tyres are hot tonight. What is the race setup? Because, I couldn't find it. I know that we've been doing different race setups. I couldn't find it though. I should have probably asked, right? But because we're doing all different stuff last season. So yeah, if someone in the chat knows, that would be great. Yeah, because I'm not too sure of the race setup this evening. Not very helpful, am I? But, let's flick over to Herbertron. He is half a second up on his best time. See if he can jump up a couple of spots. He does, into P13. Less than a minute left. So these guys are on their last runs now. Let's go to Matt Frost. Campbell for the... Oh, James Pierre-Reid just picking it. On his way, put something in the Discord chat there. That's some... that's some dedication right there. What have we got? Matt Frost. Yeah, Paulie's definitely a two-stopper. Energy Kid. Oh, that's James Mack. Yeah, James Mack. I'm recognising. That's Paul. Yeah, honestly, I think I'll be stopping. So what is it? Can someone explain it to me in the chat? I'm honestly not aware. I haven't seen it. The race setup. Honestly, I've been trying to get this stream to make sure it runs nice and smooth. Oh, have a look at this one. Have a look at Nando the Tenzio. Look at that bad boy right there. Oh, look at that. Look at that livery. That's beautiful. Love it. Who else? Mitch Hayes. That's a late entry. Mitch Hayes. MMH Autosport. Sorry, it's very bad commentating. So, Lawrenson finishes in P1. Fakeney is 3/10 up on his best time. James Pierre-Reid, the late arrival, putting in some final laps now. Let's see what he can do in the Team Super Fun Porsche. Cracking livery. Lots of work goes into that. Oh, getting a bit scrappy out of the final turn. We'll see what sort of effect that has on his time. Good enough for P13 though, so late, but better late than never. So nice work there from James Pierre-Reid. Times are gone 000. There's Marsh now making his way through the final turn. 1.5 tenths up on his best time. Oh, he's going to bail on that one. So we saw, who did we see earlier? Something similar happened through there. But that's it. So that's qualifying done. Andrew Lawrenson is our pole position sitter. Congratulations to him. A 1:34.307. Cracking time there. Almost 6/10 faster than Paul Russell sitting in P2. James Mack, the silver driver in the McLaren, a 1:35.1. So awesome work from him. He's highest of the silver class drivers. And then you've got Herbertron sitting there in P15 outright. He's the leader of the AM. Tom McDonald up there apologising. It's a bit of profanity. That's all right. We're all adults, I hope. Bridgens 16th is and third outright. Second outright and third outright in the AM is Masterson. And then second in silver is Peter Wall, and third is Neil Fakeney. So that is our grid, everyone, for round number 2. How exciting. The stream is still going. Touch wood. This is when it wasn't too long after here when it died last week. So fingers crossed we keep going. So I'll be back in about a minute and 40 seconds. So sit tight. Be back very, very shortly. Alright, we are back, everyone. So, a minute to go before we kick it off. And Lawrenson is our pole position sitter. So, championship leader, defending champion, in fact. Paul Russell sitting in P2, silver driver James Mack. He is in third. Fourth on the grid is Matt Frost in the 666 Honda. Mitch Hayes, P5 in the number 176 MMH Autosport Ferrari. Peter Wall in that lovely looking red McLaren, the Shell Racing McLaren. I wonder if he did that himself. That's awesome. Looks so good. Neil Fakeney, Crunch Time Racing, sitting there in P7. Mark Hurley in the 177 Red Rebel Racing Ruse entry. P number 8. Right, he's got a little Ruse TV sticker on there, decal on there as well. I like it. Have a look at this one. Ando Latenzio, he is in 9th in the Big Banger Tribute Aston Martin. Terry Rayton down there in 10th in the Laundry House number 85 Audi. Number 11, Matthew Marsh in the number 46, in P11, the number 47 Porsche. Adrian Rice sitting there in 12th in the Mercedes. James Pierre Reid, Team Superfun Porsche. See if he can make a bit of a charge from P13 on the grid. Tom McDonald. Sorry, Tom, I don't have your livery. Try and get it next week. He's going to start from 14th. 15th is Herbertron. Another Red Rebel Racing entry in P15, highest of the AM runners. James Bridgens, another Red Rebel Racing entry, BMW 146. I'll try and get yours next week. I downloaded it. For some reason it doesn't work. Peter Hatfield, Emil Frey Racing, P number 17. Hildebrand is going to begin the race in 18th in 111 Aston Martin. And rounding out the field is the number 37. It's P19. It's Wally Masters. So that is our grid, everyone. For this one, this was round number 2, season number 3. And now all systems go. Should be a cracker. Temperature is 20 degrees air. It's a pretty toasty track temperature as well, 26 degrees. Not too bad. It is at optimum. Forecast looks good, so plenty of cloud and maybe a little bit of sunshine. No weather to speak of, and none really expected this evening as well at the Zandvoort circuit in Holland. Right next to the ocean, this one. Not been to Zandvoort myself. Bit of a holiday town, apparently. I believe that's what I've been told. Have a look at this livery. I love this. It's so good. Nando Latenzio. A cracking job with this. Bathurst was just on this weekend as well. Camaro versus Ford. First time ever this season, this year. Won by Van Gisbergen, heading off to NASCAR next year. And here we go. Andrew Lawrenson. F22 Lapta. Good luck, boys. We'll be back next week. Alright, here we go. Lawrenson leading them away as he comes through the final turn. It's a bit of a run to the line here. So once they hit that line though, let's have a look at the Helican view. Everyone seems to be pretty well organised. Go back to the front, and there it is. There's the green light. Lawrenson looks like he got a pretty good jump. So did Russell, though. They're going to go side by side into turn 1 through Tarzan. James Mack following in third. Frost is in there as well. So is Peter Wall. They are all filtering through now. Doesn't look like we've got any dramas. Everyone's been able to get through incident free. And Paul Russell, that is not incident free. He is in P1. As they head through turn 3 now, and they head down the hill for the first time this evening, and all cars still facing the same way. That is fantastic. All 19 cars heading in the same direction, and Paul Russell is at the head of them all. Have a look at this. As they make their way down towards the fast right-hander of turn 7, that Porsche very nimble. Maybe he's got a little bit less fuel on board, judging by the chat on the stream. There's Terry Brayton looking to take a position away from Peter Wall, and he does. Neil Fakeney looking to just get a little piece of that action as well. The field still tightly packed right now around this short 4.2 kilometre circuit. It's tightly packed at the front. This is the view from the rear of our race leader. That's Paul Russell in the Kmart Porsche. As they head around the final turn for the first time this evening. And it's Russell leading the way from Lawrenson, from Mack, Hayes, Frost, Rayton, Wall, Nando Latenzio looking to put a move down there. Adrian Rice goes around. Tom McDonald is involved in there as well. Let's go and have a look what happened here. Adrian Rice will go on board with him. Not on board, but tap from behind. That was McDonald, then Marsh just taking evasive action. And so McDonald should redress there. It's been pointed out by the stewards ad nauseum, and it looks like he did. Trusted driver panel will look very closely at lap 1 incidents or very early race incidents, so I dare say they might take a quick sneak peek at that sometime during the week. But in the meantime though, Russell leading the way from Andrew Lawrenson. Pierre Reid, he's making his way back on the track there. Rallycross action. Let's see what happened to him here. Just running wide and getting on the grass. Keeps it off the fence though, so that's the main thing. And as we go back to the live action, Andrew Lawrenson now going to go maximum pressure all over the rear of the Porsche. Paul Russell is going to have to soak it up. Focus forward. Running in a straight line, dead ahead. As Lawrence making up a lot of ground under brakes there into turn 1. Tarzan. Mack not too far behind, neither is Hayes and Frost. Terry Rayton amongst them, and then it's Wall, Fakeney, Hurley, Latenzio, all pretty tightly bunched through 7th to 10th. This is the fight for the lead right now. Paul Russell took his maiden victory last season. Can he make it his second? Wait to see. Mack in there too. Pace early on in the 35s, high 35s right now. 34.355 is what we saw in qualifying, so a fair way off that sort of pace, as you would expect at this very, very early stage of the race. Not even 5 minutes have expired off the clock yet, so plenty of time get their groove on. And Herbertron. Oh, what's happened, Herb? So is that where we saw James Pierre Reid having a bit of a drama? Oh, just the rear of the cup. Oh, bunny hopping through there. So that does not look like it was a pleasurable ride at all. There we go. Back to live pictures now. Back out in front, it's 0.3 of a second the gap. You can see that between these two cars. It's a Porsche leading McLaren, another McLaren, then a Ferrari and a Honda and an Audi and a McLaren and a couple of Ferraris and an Aston Martin. Rounding out the top 10 right now is Lawrenson once again making up ground under brakes. That McLaren looking nice and steady. Remember in the Porsche last season that back end tended to step out. Lawrenson was able to handle it without any dramas, but such issues for the McLaren. Heather Russell cheering her brother on in the chat. It's going to be a good little battle. Oh, Russell's run a little bit wide there. Well, that might have opened up the gap ever so slightly for Lawrence, and that's all he needs. Just needs that door to be open just slightly ajar. Any opportunity like that. And he goes up the inside there through turn 10. And we have a new race leader. It's Andrew Lawrenson. We're looking back from the McLaren. He's back in P1. So just a little mistake there from Russell. We go back to the replay. You can see there that was the change of position between the two. So Paul Russell just ran a little bit deep there in turn 10. And that was enough to give the opportunity to Lawrenson. And now's already opened up 0.6 of a second, the gap between the two as they head down the main straight. Once again, that's the top 4. Top 5, you can see the next little group after that, headed by Terry Rayton. And that's Wall, Fakeney, Hurley, Latenzio, and Bridgens in the background. So you've got two sort of groups here, first through 5th and then 6th through about 11th, roughly, with Bridgens just hanging on to this group here. As Pierre Reid gets his way past Masterson. Let's see how that came about. Might go on board here. Definite passing opportunity here in turn 1, Tarzan. And gets it done very nicely. Some textbook stuff there from James Pierre Reid in the Porsche. He claims P number 14 from Masterson there. So I think he started about P14 from memory. James Pierre Reid, P13 in fact. There you go. My memory failed me, but only just. So that's not too bad. The gap out in front though between Lawrenson and Russell, you can see there, it's already crept up to over a second. 0.1 seconds is the gap right now between those two. So Russell's just going to have to do a little bit of damage control here as Rice is in the wars again, as is Wally Masterson. So let's see what's happened here. That was Pierre Reid up ahead. Oh, just a sneaky little dive down the inside, catches the left rear quarter panel, and that is why they ended up there between the two. And they are back both underway again, as this little group is forming up nicely. That's Mark Hurley having a look at the rear of Neil Fakeney. Getting set for a next battle between these three right here. This is good stuff. All 19 drivers still going, which is fantastic. Andrew Lawrenson leading the way from Russell, Mack, Hayes, Frost, Brayton, Wall, Fakeney, Hurley, Latenzio. Not too sure of the exact race format this evening, so we're going to experience it together here. Track's still at optimum, 26 degrees track temp, 20 degrees air temperature. Is at optimum, and the sun is out right now, so we've got some sunshine and plenty of overcast conditions already, so it's a nice little change here to see the circuit bathed in sunshine as Terry Rayton leading this little group here. His last time around 36.965, a couple of tenths slower in fact than Peter Wall, and very similar pace to Neil Fakeney. So it's going to be interesting to see what Wall can do here. Try and launch an attack on Terry Rayton. 0.4 of a second is the gap. You can see that on the screen quite clearly. Turn 1 is a very, very popular place for overtaking. Mark Hurley is thinking about it. And decides no, not this time around, but definitely poking that Ferrari up there though, as Peter Wall just coming under attack there from Neil Fakeney. Looking good so far. That 17 McLaren, look at that, that's beautiful. Bit of nostalgia there as well. Was never a Ford man, but man, those Ford Sierras are just absolutely magnificent. Obviously I know that's what we're watching, but that's what the livery's from. And Peter Wall is doing it proud right now. 1:37 flat was his last lap time. Terry Rayton car in front, you can see just there to the 37.1, so 7/100ths of a second difference between these two on the previous lap. Going through tricky turn 11 and 12. This track is quite relentless. Not much reprieve, which is good if you're in a rhythm. Peter Hatfield, he's not in a rhythm right now. Oh dear, Pierre Reid following him in there as well. I don't know if that's just out of sympathy or what's happened here. Oh, this might give us a bit of an idea. Okay, there we go. So Pierre Reid was the guilty party there, just tapping him from behind and redressing there. So you can see Adrian Rice has had himself a bit of a mischief here as well. Oh, going around. Oh, that's a bit awkward too. So he's been in the walls tonight. Adrian Rice, as he backs it in reverse and makes his way out as we go back to live pictures. And he is making his way into the pits. He is, yes. Alright, so we'll leave him to that. This is Mitch Hayes. Where'd you start, Mitch Hayes? He started P5. He's dropped. He's up a spot. He's in P4 right now. Stream is still going strong. I'm liking it. We got further ahead than we did last week. This is good. Very good. Lawrenson opened up a pretty decent gap now. 3.1 seconds it was. It is. 35.680 that last lap compared to Russell at 36.385. So gives a bit of an idea of lap times. He's the only driver lapping in the 35. This is McDonald and Reed make their way past Hatfield, so he drops a little bit further down. He's now in P17, and the car that we saw earlier in the pits is still there. That's Adrian Rice. Oh, here we go. Here's Neil Fakeney all over the back of Peter Wall. Screen time for the number 17 McLaren tonight. Goes down the inside hard under brakes. Oh, gets a little bump from behind from Peter Wall. Doesn't spin around, thankfully. And gets the pass done. Let's have a look at that on replay. Down the inside, pulls it up. Nice work there from Neil Fakeney. He moves up into P7. We go back to live pictures. Where did he start? He started in P7, so here's where he started. As we're fast approaching the quarter-way mark of round number 2, season number 3 for 2023. This is Race on Oz of the PC Monday Night League. I hope you're enjoying the proceedings. Race so far here around Zandvoort. Not expecting any weather. Looking at the forecast at the moment, looks pretty good. Moving ahead. All is well in Andrew Lawrenson's world. 3.7 seconds the gap between him and Paul Russell. Peter Ward just making a little mistake through 12 there. Coming under a little bit of pressure now from Mark Hurley. Neil Fakeney. So this is the battle for silver class right now in P7, 8 and 9. Neil Fakeney just ahead there in the silver and green car. Peter Wall, 8th right now. You can see on screen, and 9th is Mark Hurley. So this is the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th, because James Mack is leading the silver class right now as Hurley once again poking the nose of the Ferrari. Goes down the inside into turn 1. Just letting them know he's there. In the meantime, though, he just needs to keep one eye behind him as well, because that's the Aston Martin of Nando Latenzio. He's hunting him down right now. Fastest car on circuit is Andrew Lawrenson. He's set the fastest lap of the race as well. 35.440 is the best time. His previous lap was a 35.802, so 4/10 off his best lap of the race. As we're having a look at the battle for 2nd and 3rd. And 4th, in fact. So Russell, Mack and Hayes. James Mack having a cracking race. Maybe he needs to go up a class shortly in the Red Rebel Racing livery. So McLaren leading at the moment. McLaren was leading the Manufacturers Championship as we are doing that again this season. As they head onto the front straight. Top speeds so far, Mac 252 kilometres, Russell 252, Hayes 254, 256 to Mark Hurley. He's got that Ferrari humming right now. Speaking of, there he is, he's in the pits. So Mark Hurley with the early stop, 16 and a half minutes gone. And he's the first driver to stop this evening, the 177 Ferrari entry. Silver class driver, silver class championship leader, in fact, defending champion. And he's making his stop right now, so we'll leave him to do that. In the meantime, we'll have a look back here for the battle, for second, third and fourth. Russell, Mack and Hayes doing battle. So Russell on that last lap at 36.280, 36 flat to Mack, 35.9 to Hayes. So Russell, slowest of the trio right now. So that Porsche is going to have to make sure he's got one eye on his rear view mirror and one eye forward to defend if need be. But he's got a buffer of 0.7 of a second between him and Mack right now. We're not far away from third race distance. And the race has really started to settle down. We'll see who the big movers and shakers. Oh, Bridgens! Oh, and Rice as well. In unison on different parts of the circuit. Let's see what happened here to Bridgens. Oh, this was him and Rice. Rice just fresh out of the pits and pictures speak for themselves, and we're back to live pictures as Rice still there. Maybe needs to just get it going again, and that's at the final turn. Can he see? Yeah, okay, cool, alright, well I think he's getting it sorted. Teleport back to the pits. Okay, that's fair enough. Alright, Hayes and Mack still doing battle. So Mack is our silver class leader and third outright. I think he was sorry, wrong one. I think he was sick child at home, I think, tonight by himself. I saw something in the chat, so he said hopefully I don't know if it was a son or a daughter. Just hopefully they slept. I think it was the thing. It might not have been Terry. It could have been anyone else. Oh, here we go. Neil Fakeney, Terry Rayton. So a little bit of on-track action. The Ferrari just tucking into the draft of the Audi, sending it down the inside of turn one. Not quite close enough there for Neil Fakeney in the Crunch Time Racing Ferrari, the number 9. P7 though, so he's second in silver class. That is where he started the race. And he's going to follow him through this fast sector 1 through 7. 6, sorry, this is 7. Such a hard sequence of corners to learn. Very sort of the apex is quite strange around this circuit. Well, I found them to be quite strange. It's a testing little track. It does it's certainly testing. As I mentioned before, it's just constantly coming at you. Very little reprieve. There's no Camel Straight. There's no no straight at like at Paul Ricard or Barcelona, you know. And you can just take a breath. You can, just relax your focus for a few seconds. This is it. This is all you get. And if you tuck behind the car like on the fake is, it's maximum concentration. As they follow each other through turn 1. Step away from that. The back of him here. Rayton did a 37.597. Fake near 37.712, so slightly slower, but you can see that doesn't really count for very much right now. As looks like Hatfield and McDonald have swapped positions down there in 14th and 15th, but we'll stick with this battle because this is where it's at. This is heating up very nicely, and we're looking from the rear of the Audi belonging to Terry Rayton as they come through turn 8 now. That's fake near, so that's Wall and Lattanzio in the background there. So that's 8th and 9th. Chris Hildebrand. I haven't even mentioned his name this evening. He's just tucked in behind them as well. Now to see him when he does come around. He's got the bright yellow and purple livery on that Aston Martin. One of 2 Astons in the field. Tom McDonald. Oh dear, we've seen him in that position a little bit this evening. What happened here? That's Hatfield behind him, and I just upset on the curb. Yep, ran a little bit wide, and it was very easy to do there. Kept it off the fence though, which is good. As we go back to live images, let's go back to this battle here between Rayton, Fakeney, Wall, and Lattanzio. It's a couple of pairs going on right here. In that splendid Big Banger tribute livery Aston. Glorious. 2 of the best liveries actually in sequence right here. Bridgens and McDonald. 2 cars without a livery. I don't have either of them, unfortunately. My apologies. Download them from the shed. Ooh. I download them from the thingo, but sometimes they just don't work for whatever reason. I don't know. So, Fakeney, I just have to keep an eye on Peter Wall here. Doesn't want to concede any ground to him. In the meantime, he doesn't want to let Terry Rayton get too far ahead either. Speaking of getting ahead, Andrew Lawrenson is 6.4 seconds out in front right now, so he's giving a hard time to Paul Russell, who's struggling to keep up with him. He was about 9/10 of a second slower on that last lap. He's got James Mack for company, and Mitch Hayes is tucked right in behind Mack. You can see Frost there just in the foreground as Pierre Reid and Herbertron swap positions, and Lattanzio and Wall having a look there. Let's see if we can go back and see this overtake here. Oh, Herbertron just had a little bit of a mistake there. Oh, that was almost going into the wall there, but Pierre Reid manages to sneak through. I wonder if he's having some handling issues with that Porsche at the moment. Back to this little 4-way battle between Rayton, Fakeney, Wall, and Lattanzio. 4 of the closest cars out on circuit right now, as we're not too far away from the halfway mark of this one. Round number 2. 2 of 10. There's a lot of racing this season. Fakeney, what was his last lap time? 37.597. Rayton did a 37.505. So gives you a bit of an idea. And lap time, Peter Wall, 37.567. And a 37.115 to Lattanzio. So he was faster than the guys he's chasing right now. This is good stuff. This is good close racing between these 4 cars. Poor Matt Frost, he's all by himself. He's 8 seconds away from Hayes, and Terry Rayton's 8 seconds behind him, so he's just all by himself having a lonely old race. Oh, Fakeney is not lonely. He's got Peter Wall for company because he made a mistake there. Oh, almost concedes the place. Wall is all over him. Ow, no, Peter Wall. Maybe he just lost a little bit of aero downforce there, getting so close to Fakeney. Let's just go back here. We'll go on board. This might give us I reckon just unfortunate sequence of events there for Peter Wall, who was having a great race in the number 17. Now finds himself back in P9 right now, so unfortunate for him. One man's loss is another man's gain. One person's loss is another person's gain, you could say, in 2023. Oh, here we go. Neil Fakeney. Side-by-side action racing into turn 11 through 12. So Terry Rayton's done a good job. He kept Peter Wall at bay. Oh, but now he's got Neil Fakeney for company. So it doesn't get any easier for Terry Rayton right now, who so far has been able to soak up the pressure. Weaving up and down all over the place. Up the front straight. Latenzio just latching on to this little tree here. So Rayton last lap around 38.3, 38.1 to Fakeney, 37.4 to Latenzio. So that's why he's creeping up ever closer to the 2 cars in front. Russell and Lawrence, the gap now is extended out 7.8 seconds. Lawrence lapping a 36.3 that last lap, a 36.7 to Russell, so only 4/10 the difference between the two. Russell's on the same pace right now as Lawrence, and just the gap is 7.8 seconds as we stand, as we're 45 seconds away from the halfway mark. Ooh, what's happened to Herbertron here? Let's have a quick look at the replay. By himself into 11. He clipped the curb. Oh, yep. Little yellow sausage. Oh, he's just kind of riding it, wasn't he? And away he goes. That was enough to upset the car. Ooh, who's that? There's Mitch Marsh. Not Mitch Marsh. I always say Mitch Marsh because I always think of the cricketer whenever I think of Marsh. Matthew Marsh. I do apologise, Matthew Marsh. Very famous name, Marsh name in Australian cricket. If you're that way inclined, World Cup is on at the moment. One day World Cup in India. Australia lost last night to India. South Africans on Thursday night. Some good form at the moment, but I'm straying away from the action on the track because it's hot right now. Neil Fakeney all over the back of Terry Rayton. They're going to go for a drag race into turn 11. Rayton will have to defend, as he's done so far for quite a fair chunk of this race right now. The Audi driver, the number 85 Laundry House entry in P6. right now as they head up the front straight. Brayton trying to break the toe. He's faking to go up the inside. You can hear the downshift. Bang, bang, bang. You can see the Aston Martin in the rear view mirror as well, or the rear video mirror, if you like. This is where we saw Peter Wall make the mistake. The car gets quite light through there as well, so it's not uncommon to see cars going around there. So that what happened to Peter Wall earlier. That's very, very easy. It's an easy thing to happen in that part of the track. So definitely didn't have any. Wasn't a skill error, a skill issue. Sorry, it's just one of those things that the car can get very light, turn around very, very easily through there. Board with Neil Fakeney last lap around 37.670 to Rayton, 37.345 to Fakeney, 3/10 faster than that previous lap. Can Fakeney find a way past his Lattanzio? Able to do a little sneaky here and catch Fakeney not paying attention as Hayes has made his way into the pits. Will we see one of this trio go in there? We see both of them? No, we don't. Almost a bit of a fake out there from Rayton as he goes defensive again, forcing Fakeney to the outside. And you've got Lattanzio tucked in here too. This is good racing between these three. All these three drivers will all be having a really good time right now. They will be thoroughly enjoying themselves. This is good, hard, fair, clean racing between Rayton, Fakeney, Lattanzio. It's 5th, 6th and 7th. Hayes is just in the pits. He makes his stop. He's off and going. There we go. We're back. This is good stuff. Terry Rayton been doing a phenomenal job. First it was Peter Wall. Now it's Neil Fakeney, keeping them both at bay. Well, just briefly upset the car. Andrew Lawrenson has managed to find his groove again at 1:36.1. That lap around, 10.3 seconds is the gap between he and Paul Russell. Paul Russell crosses the line. He puts in a 1:37.175. So a full second slower than Andrew Lawrenson on that previous lap. Russell's got Mack for company as well, half a second behind, so we might just flick across there very, very shortly to have a look at how things are playing out there. Just stick with these three down the front straight to see if there's any action. It doesn't look like there's going to be, and there isn't. So those three will all hold their positions. As mentioned, here's James Mack and Paul Russell battling it out for P2 and P3. Mack leading the silver class right now in third outright, so that's a great result for him. Great effort, in fact. Look at that Pierre Reid, he's hunting down Marsh. It's Porsche on Porsche. There's only 3 of them in the field, and 2 of them are occupying P10 and P11. 38.190 last lap around to Marsh. 38 flat to Reed. That's Hildebrandt just a little bit further up the road, about a second and a half. There he is. Can't miss him in that very brightly coloured Aston Martin. He's occupying a top 10 position, P9 in fact, in the 111 Aston Martin. So these two still going at it. Neil Fakeney is still going at it as well. Kind of feel like something's got to give here between these three. They've been quite close for a while. Lattanzio now launching an attack on Fakeney. Almost had the inside run there through turn 12. Fakeney driving it out now. And Lattanzio continues to give chase, which in the meantime just lets Terry Rayton off the hook a little bit right now. You see a pit stop here from Fakeney, getting a little bit ragged at this stage of the race. 24 minutes still to go. So we've got almost a third race distance still remaining. Haven't had many pit stops happening either. I'm a little bit in the dark for the race setup. That's James Pierre-Reid just getting a little bit leery on the final turn. Hunting down another Porsche ahead of him. That's Matthew Marsh. Oh, he sends it quite deep there at turn 1. That's Tarzan. He goes swinging off the track. But he is able to return unharmed. So, and occupying the position with which he left the track. And that was P11 and Marsh, able to get a little bit of breathing room now between him and James Pierre-Reid. Here's Mitch Hayes and Wally Masterson. Hatfield, this is at turn 3. Ooh, that's a little bit hairy. Let's see what happened here. By himself. Oh, he gets on the grass there. Oh, that's a decent whack into the wall as well for Peter Hatfield. So he's definitely going to have to pay a visit to the pits and get that all cleaned up. You know why they call it the pits? Because they used to have, when to work underneath cars, they didn't have like the hydraulic jacks to jack them up like they do now, so they had to dig a pit underneath it. And so that's where the term pits comes from. That's why they call it pits. There you go. Do you ever just read a word and say, "What? I wonder where that came from"? Or is that just me? I don't know. But anyway, there you go. You learned something this evening, or maybe you already knew that. Quite possibly. If you did, good on you. Here's Latenzio. And Fakeney just up ahead, as well as Rayton. 22 minutes still to go. Having a look at that. Beautiful livery of Nando Latenzio. He always puts in a lot of effort into his livery, does Nando. I think he does them himself as well. I'm pretty sure he does. Always produces something spectacular. And here we go, Hatfield is in the pits as well. So I'm judging there wasn't a compulsory pit stop this evening. It's just a flat out sprint. I will try and make sure that I get the race set up for next week. I was pushing it pretty hard up against the wall to get going for this evening. But all's well that ends well. I think we've had a good race so far. Terry Rayton, Neil Fakeney, and Latenzio a little bit further back now, almost a second the difference between him and Fakeney. Side by side, we've seen this already. Fakeney might have had the run, had to go round the outside. Rayton had to go defensive to cover him off. Oh, it gives him a little tap from behind. Does Fakeney on Rayton. Both cars keeping it pointed the straight way. Pointing it straight in the right direction. Got it out there in the end. Once again, Rayton going very defensive. Deep deep under brakes into turn 1. Turn back on that apex there. Get the corner completed. We're having a look now at Fakeney from the rear of his car. Mando Latenzio giving chase. Andrew Lawrenson has this one well in hand. Not too far away from the final quarter hour. And Fakeney pushing very, very hard. It's been a good drive from him, Fakeney, as well. He started 7th, worked himself up into P6 here. And he's pushed Terry Rayton all the way. Really held his nerve. It's been some quality driving from the number 9, the Crunch Time Racing entry. He's put on a really good display. Been very impressive driving. Terry Rayton, I think, also can't be left out of that conversation. He's done really well to soak up the pressure from Peter Wall earlier on. Then Neil Fakeney for a good 20 minutes now. Almost a third race distance, and we've still got almost a third still to go. So Terry Rayton doing a fantastic job of keeping the Ferrari at bay, especially in that Audi as well. The Audi is not as once powerful as it once was, and you can see him there going defensive once again, forcing Fakeney to the outside. That's the long way around to Tarzan. Can he get it done? Rayton's got the inside line and is able to stay ahead. It's the speed difference between the two, so pretty big difference, in fact. 250 kilometre top speed to Rayton, 254 to Fakeney. So that gives you a bit of an indication why you can see Fakeney making up so much ground on the front straight. Similar to what we saw with the Camaros and Fords at Bathurst just yesterday. Quite a speed disparity between the two. Fakeney continues to pile on the pressure on. 137.837 to Rayton. 37.787, so 5/100ths of a second. The difference between Rayton and Fakeney on that last lap. Latenzio, I feel like he's just content to just sit behind here and watch this one play out, not push too hard, and see if he can pick up any pieces that might fall his way. In the meantime, a couple of other scraps going on a bit further afield. Hildebrandt and Reed in 10th and 11th right now. And then Hayes and Herbertron there in 12th and 13th. They've got a nice little battle going on. And then James Mack and Paul Russell have been going at it for a while now too. So last lap around was Paul Russell, a 36.640. He was about 8/100th of a second faster than James Mack on that previous lap, so their pace is very, very similar, but no one else is lapping in the 35s as Andrew Lawrenson is. He's a 35.9 that previous lap, a best of a 35.440. They did do 34.3s in qualifying, so it gives you a bit of an idea on terms of where they compare to their qualifying times. And Neil Fakeney is trying to put in some qualifying like times right now, all over the back of Terry Rayton. Let's see how this move came about. This is Hayes on Herbertron. Looked like Herbertron was pretty happy to hand that one over without any dramas, and he remains in P1 in the AM class as well. So I think he was happy to just let the faster driver through, and Hayes takes P7. They have lost one. I do believe that was Adrian Rice after having a bit of a rough time of it. Had him in the chat quite a few times. He's another astute observer as well, giving some great insight. We've been getting some insight though into Neil Fakeney in his driving this evening, which has been tip top. Doesn't look like he's close enough now to make a run down the straight for Rayton. Latenzio just sticking the nose out just to let Fakeney know, hey, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. been keeping an eye on proceedings from afar as we have 14 minutes left in this one. This is round number 2 of season 3. Here. What about Pierre Reed looking to go around the outside of Hildebrandt? Not quite able to get it done. So the number 31 there in 11th position right now. Ooh, Mark Hurley taking a position away from Masterson. See how that one came about. I think that was into turn 1. Okay, there you go. Oh no, he was on the brakes there. Masterson, what was he doing? I'm not too sure. But anyway, Mark Hurley. He's not having it all his own way in silver class this evening. He is a ways down the field. He is 3rd, 4th, 6th in class. Second last in the silver class is Mark Hurley. So, from chocolates to boiled lollies. He's not having a good run of it this evening. He's usually a class leader as well. So, this will be a very foreign feeling for him. As these three have been going at it for almost half the race. There's Peter Wall just in the background. So he was involved in this battle earlier on until he had that sort of little mishap there coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. He's been lapping at 37.3, so 2 to 3 tenths faster than the guys in front. 6.4 seconds adrift, so I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to make up enough ground to challenge for position here, but we'll have to wait and see over the next 12 minutes and change. And in the meantime, Mac continues just to nibble away at the rear of Paul Russell, who's been able to hold him off. Only 3/1000ths of a second the difference between lap times on that previous lap between Russell and Mac, and the gap is 0.6 of a second, as you can see on the screen with your own 2 eyes. And in the meantime, Fakeney has continued to just crawl all over the back of the Aston Martin, and Hildebrandt is up in there. He's just letting someone through. Yeah, Neil Fakeney, he's driving like a demon this evening. Like a man possessed, not like a demon, like a man possessed. I'm 42, I'm not 62. Dive into turn 1 once again. Clock ticking down now. Has a slight psychological effect. You know, you've had a 60-minute race. Yeah, almost 50 minutes gone. Final 10 minutes. Start to rationalise things a little bit differently in your mind. And sometimes you see a gap that's actually not quite there, but you think that it is. And that clock often has a big part of that. Changes your perception on things sometimes. Time can create a little bit of pressure, and pressure makes people do funny things sometimes. It's also what you fill your tyres with. But yeah, pressure can burst pipes. It can create diamonds, apparently. These three all following each other once again into 11 and 12. Just having a look for the big movers and shakers. So Hayes started in 5th, he's down in 11th, so he's dropped spots. Neil Fakeney, he started in P7, he's up 1 spot. Terry Rayton started 10th, so he's in P5 right now. He's one of the biggest risers as opposed from Hildebrandt. Goes defensive once again a little bit later up the front straight. I was thinking he was doing it relatively early, and I wonder if that did sort of just dirty his tyres a little bit and affect his braking into turn one, the hardest braking part of the circuit. So maybe that's why he saw him go a little bit later with the move. Who else? Wally Masterson's up 4 positions. And then sort of the main fallers is Hayes, who started 5th in 11th, and then Hurley. He started 8th and finds himself in 14th with less than 9 minutes on the clock. 4:58 local in-game time. Track conditions have been what they have been virtually since they started. Funnily enough, as well, the top 4 have not changed positions, so they've all remained in the spots in which they started in. So all the movement has happened from 5th onwards. And we've had a good attrition rate. We've only lost 1 driver this evening. So a good result as Hayes and Reed battling it out for the final top 10 position. And this is Hayes going down the inside of Reed. And there you go, gets the job done. Nice work, Mitch Hayes. The Double MH Autosport entry, the number 176 Ferrari. As we go back to this battle here, which we've been on for quite a while this evening, but they've been the 3 closest cars on circuit. A couple other close cars is Russell and Mack. Give these guys a little bit of shine. So 36.950 is Russell that last lap around. 36.700 to Mack. So 7.5 tenths slower on the previous lap. It is 3 tenths the difference between the two. Clock continues to count down. We are almost 7 minutes left. These two want to bring it home. Don't want to do anything to jeopardise the podium position, both of which these two find themselves in. James Mack especially, he's a class victory right now for silver, 3rd outright. Neil Fakeney is in 6th outright and 2nd in class. And here's James Mack just having a little peek around the outside there of the Porsche belonging to Paul Russell. Mark Hurley, what's happened here? Where are you? Oh dear. Let's see how that happened. Oh, so we've caught him. Oh, clattering into the wall. This is very un-Mark Hurley-like. We often do not see this at all. So, very uncharacteristic to see him struggling like this evening. And that's just out of turn 3 there. And I wonder, is this... Oh dear. With just over 6 minutes left, that could be a teleport back to the pits and game over, unfortunately, for the Ferrari. And there we go, we can see him, he's teleported back and finds himself down there at the rear of the field. James Mack, he finds himself at the opposite end of the field. Not quite content with 3rd, he wants 2nd. And he is going to hustle Paul Russell. I didn't mean to rewind that, but anyway. Making their way through 11 as well. I do like the Red Rebel Racing liveries. Not too sure who does them. Don't know if it's James Mack or there's a few of them running that livery. That style anyway. Different colours. Herbertron's another one. Mark Hurley and I think Bridgens. They're all part of the Red Rebel Racing crew, if you like. Good for them. I like it. Good community spirit. Back to Fakeney, who's not given up on Terry Rayton, who is holding on to that top 5 position in the Audi. Being an Audi driver myself, not in real life, in the game, but it'd be nice to have an Audi. But no, he's been doing well, doing really well. Terry Rayton. He's had to defend extremely hard this evening. I'm not too sure which part of the country he's from, but might be a little bit sweaty by the time this one is finished. He's defended brilliantly, driven brilliantly, in fact. So great result from him right now. We're 4 minutes away from the conclusion of this one, so I don't want to be too preemptive here. They're making their way down the roller coaster through turn 7 into the next right-hander of turn 8. Kind of almost an 8-man race there. He's very early on that, and I would definitely trust him, Terry Rayton, better than me. Here's Fakey and Latenzio. Latenzio going around the outside. He's been biding his time all for almost half the race. Almost made it stick. He did get ahead momentarily. It's going to be a drag race now down into the right-hander of turn 13. Latenzio just bailing out momentarily, hoping to get a run through turn 14, catch a toe here. The Aston Martin definitely has the power to take on the Ferrari here. Final 3 minutes of the race, and Neil Fakeney's found himself in a real dogfight here. Nando Latenzio is going to push him all the way. Going around the outside now of turn 1 of Tarzan. Latenzio full on attack right now on Neil Fakeney. Neil Fakeney having to fight for dear life. He's been the one doing all of the attacking. He all of a sudden finds himself on the other foot now, and he's having to defend for dear life. He's got Nando Latenzio all over the back of him, and this little scrap has all of a sudden come to life as we're closing in on the finish of this one. Oh, that was exciting. That sort of got the heart rate going there for a second or two. Metal Steel Racing had to pit first time, headphones died, next crash, gas pedal broke. Oh, that's horrible. Well, Mark Hurley, I hope you can get everything sorted before next week and it's not too much damage there. So thanks for letting us know in the chat. Much appreciated to you. In the meantime, though, this has really let Terry Rayton off the hook here. Not so much off the hook, but it's giving him a pretty good reprieve. And he's going to be able to comfortably bring that Audi home in P5 now. In the meantime, though, Neil Fakeney is going to have a fight on his hands there as he goes a little bit wide through 13. Will that affect his run out of 14? And Latenzio, this guy's going to have... Oh, this might be the final lap. No, it won't be. No, they're going to have one more lap after this one. Latenzio making up ground under brakes. Looking for a way past. Mac is all over the back of Russell as well. This is when we need the split screen. So those two are duking it out. Latenzio and Fakeney are fighting it out. So P2 and P3 right now. Lawrenson, he's 20 seconds up the road. He's gone. These two, though, he's on the final lap. So we've got a couple of good scraps. 3, in fact. Hayes and Marsh, they're going at it as well in the dying seconds of this one. We're not far away. He's 23 seconds away from going 000. James Mack, this will be the final opportunity he has to launch an attack into turn 1. Nowhere near close enough to have a go. What about Latenzio? These guys are only making their way through turn 11 and 12. Latenzio looking to go around the outside again. Things are starting to get a little bit willing out there. So Mack and Russell down the roller coaster. That is turns 4, 5, 6 into 7. The right hander, then into 8. A good race from these guys this evening. Oh, Mack having a look down the inside. Andrew Lawrenson not too far away from hitting the finish line. We'll get him as he does. In the meantime, though, we're going to watch Russell and Mark. But congratulations, Andrew Lawrence, and he started the season off. He's 2 from 2. He took pole position last week, took pole position this week, and he has taken 2 race victories in a row to begin season number 3. Congratulations, Andrew Lawrence, and the fight for P2 is still on. James Mack is going to push the Porsche of Paul Russell all the way to the checkered flag as they come through the final turn. I think Russell is going to be able to hold off Mack. He does. Well done, Paul Russell. He takes home a podium. James Mack in P3. Congratulations to those two. That was a cracking fight all the way between Mack and Frost. Oh, Hayes has fallen in a bit of trouble there on the final lap. Here's Matt Frost. A very lonely race for him. He's going to come home and take P4 in the 666 Honda Viper 23 Racing. Congratulations to him. Terry Rayton, what a great drive. He soaked up all of that pressure from Fakeney. First it was Wall, then it was Fakeney, and he's managed to come home P5. Great drive from Terry Rayton. Well done to you. Neil Fakeney is going to finish in P6. Great drive from him. Nando Latenzio as well. Peter Wall in 8th. Marsh looking to come home in P9. He's got some battle scars on the front of that number 47 Porsche. But he is coming home to take the checkered flag in P9. 10th is Mitch Hayes. That's James Pierre Reid pushing him all the way as well. He claims P11. Hildebrandt comes home in 12th. And Herbertron, the leader of the AM class, comes home in 13th outright. So it's our outright leader, Andrew Lawrence, in the 444 McLaren. He takes P1. James Mack finished in P3. He's the silver class victor this week. And then the AM class winner is Herbertron. And I do believe that's back-to-back for Herbertron. And Mark Hurley crashing out there. That will affect the championship. And Neil Fakeney will be more than likely take the lead of the silver class. But once again, speaking of class, it was this man here. He is all class. He's gone, in fact. That's how classy he is. Andrew Lawrence, he's taken out his 2nd race victory for the season. So he started off 2 for 2. He'll get a little bit more ballast next week as well. All right, well, speaking of next week, we are off to Donington Park. I'm just thankful that the stream was able to stay up the whole time. So whatever the gremlin was last week, it looks like it's been fixed. So thankfully I was able to bring you the full stream this evening. Looking forward to doing it all again next week. We'll be back at the same time and the same channel. Donington Park, 100 minutes around there in the UK. So looking forward to doing that next week. In the meantime, congratulations to everyone this evening. Thanks for everyone for watching. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. Look after yourself. Look after each other. My name's